The third topical in the name of Deputy Thomas Pringle to discuss emergency funding of repairs caused by recent storms to Pollawaddy, Slipway, Árainn Mhór, Donegal. I have 4 minutes.
This topical issue is in relation to recent storm damage that has been carried out by the Pollawaddy. I'm glad to see yourself here as Minister to take this topical issue. As a fellow Donegal TD, you will know the slipway I'm talking about at Pollawaddy and Árainn Mhór. You'll know too the extent of the damage suffered from the pictures that were sent to us by members of the Irish Islands Marine Organisation as well. The recent succession of storms that hit Ireland caused disruption and damage to numerous areas across the country, and I acknowledge, Minister, that in most instances the damages could be categorised as what would you expect from such weather events, or as nothing out of the ordinary. Certainly it was not anywhere in the range of destruction of storms such as Ophelia or Desmond in recent memory. But there are always exceptions, and in this instance Pollawaddy is that exception. Minister, I do want to acknowledge the increase in funding you provided last year, which benefited Donegal County Council to the tune of over €850,000. And all the same, the local authority in Donegal has over 150 piers and harbours, as you know, under its control, one of the highest numbers, if not the highest, of any local authority in the country. I'm aware too of the recent provision of a new funding stream under the Brexit Adjustment Fund for piers and harbours as recommended by the Seafood Task Force. Unfortunately, it's hard to see how emergency repair works, such as needed in Pollawaddy, would properly fit the bill under this. Our inshore fishing sector relies on piers, slipways and harbours such as Pollawaddy, and they have been hit hard by successive governments due to restrictions and bans being placed on the types of fishing they can engage in. Yet many are still engaged in full-time in the sector and draw their sole income from it. It's beyond a job for these people, it's a way of life, one that has more than just an economic value to be placed on it. There is also the culture and heritage value of these traditional fisheries which utilise such local infrastructure. These aspects were recognised by your own party, Minister, when you wholeheartedly supported the Island Fisheries Heritage Licence Bill while in opposition. And I hope that the recognition survives the transition across the floor to sit with Fine Gael. Seriously though, I suppose the main reason I'm bringing this in to you today is the immediacy of funding in this case. I am asking that you will look to make a one-off allocation of emergency funding to cover the cost of repair and ancillary works required to protect from a similar recurrence. Perhaps you could do so in collaboration with your ministerial colleague in Housing, Heritage and Local Government. So, Minister, will you commit in the House here today to engage directly with Donegal County Council Marine Engineering Section and commit to funding the cost of these repairs? Finally, Minister, paramount to what I'm asking for today are two things: a speed of decision and a straightforward yes or no answer to be able to go back to our constituents with. I think a speed of decision is telling in itself, because this happened out of the unexpectedly, and it needs to get back into operation as soon as possible. And maybe works could be carried out as well to actually protect the pier and from future storms as well at that time, and that would be really handy. And then a straightforward yes or no answer would be very important as well, just so that they would know where they would stand, and Donegal County Council could actually start maybe planning towards what is needed to be done as well too, because that would be vitally important so that they can know this is done. And it is an exceptional damage and storm damage and a once-off thing, Minister, and I think that the department should be able to take that on board and actually make this right for the people of Árainn Mhór as well. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Deputy Pringle, for raising this issue this morning and for ensuring that we can address the damage that was done on Pollawaddy Pier here in the Dáil, on the floor of the Dáil, and also glad to be able to give a broader overview as well of the work that I and the department are doing in relation to supporting Donegal County Council and other local authorities in terms of improving our small piers and harbours. In relation to Pollawaddy's slipway, I've spoken to the County Manager, John McLaughlin, in relation to this, and I know it's something that they will be assessing. I've no doubt the County Council engineer as well, Cathal Sweeney, who does tremendous work across the county in relation to maintaining and developing our small piers and harbours, and who in fact is an Árainn Mhór Islander himself. So I've no doubt that he's very much on top of this case as well in terms of assessing the impact and the damage that's there. We haven't been notified formally yet of the impact of the damage. Obviously in the first instance, as a local authority managed pier, it's a matter for the local authority to assess and see what the repair challenge is, and to see how that can be gone about. Obviously, in relation to both myself and Minister for Rural Affairs as well, any feedback from the County Council in relation to the challenge that's there, we certainly will engage. It's really important that this key pier and harbour is repaired and put back in place. It's crucial for the islanders in terms of the fishing sector there. It's crucial for the inshore fishers in terms of the work that they carry out and being able to get on with their livelihoods in a safe manner. And certainly, as you know, no more than yourself, our inshore sector is a sector that I massively value and massively support, and which we really have to do. It can be a difficult lifestyle and a difficult livelihood, but a really important one. Really important part of our heritage, really important part of our economy and currently, and particularly a really important part of our island economy. And piers and infrastructure funding is crucial to that, and that's why last year I announced record funding for small piers and harbours across the country. Donegal, in fact, had the highest allocation of any county in relation to its piers and harbours, as you mentioned, but also then in relation to supporting inshore fishers. For the first time ever, I announced a support scheme a few weeks ago as well, which delivers €4,000 for inshore fishers with boats larger than 8 metres, and €2,800 for those that are smaller than that, again as a means of supporting inshore fisher incomes. But crucial to their income is having the capacity and the facilities and the infrastructure, and that's why the government are putting such an emphasis on developing our piers and harbours, and in particular as well now availing of the opportunity that's there under the Brexit Adjustment Reserve. And I've been engaging with my Cabinet colleagues, and I've been raising it on an ongoing basis as Cabinet as to how we are seeking to leverage the funding that's there now to maximise the benefit in every way we can from a funding point of view for smaller piers and harbours and that infrastructure. Obviously, there's been a real challenge, which has been in terms of the Brexit impact and that quota impact from that, which we fought to represent our national sector with in every way possible. But coming out of that, now we want to build it, we want to support it, we want to fund it, we want to ensure that infrastructure is there, and to develop the piers and harbours. Obviously, in the case of Pollawaddy here, there has been impact from Storm Franklin. I know that it was a very challenging night across Donegal in terms of infrastructure, particularly a challenging night, as you know, for our Micah homeowners as well, and very distressful but distressing for everyone. And a reflection of the impact of that storm was the impact here in Pollawaddy, and certainly I know the local authority are assessing it, and certainly as Minister I will engage with them in any way I can to be supportive of ensuring that the repairs are completed. Thank you.
Come on. We have to bring
Thanks, Minister, and thanks for the oversight in relation to the piers and harbours and stuff like that there. And you know that there is two aspects here. There is actual ongoing maintenance and stuff like that there, which you've outlined in terms of the Brexit Reserve Fund and in terms of normal government funding, and that goes into the piers and harbours and makes sense. And while Donegal may have got the biggest allocation, I think probably Donegal has the most number of piers as well. So it would make sense that Donegal would get the biggest allocation, and it's a pity that we had to have a Donegal minister to ensure that would be recognised, but it's at least that is recognised now, and hopefully that will continue on. But what really and truly is needed here is once-off funding, and I think that's important. And I think you have gone some way to recognising that, and I acknowledge that you've spoken to the county manager and you're waiting for a report to come back from them. But I think while the report, and we'll put the pressure on the council to ensure that they report back to you, but then it is up to the department. The council wouldn't have the resources to actually deal with this initially themselves, so it is going to be up to the department, and I would urge you to ensure that funding will be made available when the report comes from Donegal County Council, and to keep the pressure on the council as well, which we all will be, to keep pressure on the council to ensure that they actually do a timely report and they get it up to the department in a timely fashion, so that they can be dealt with, so that this period can be fixed up as soon as possible. That's vitally important, Minister. And I just urge you to keep the pressure on and to be ready to actually put some funding in place when that comes up. Thank you.
Come on, we have the Minister to conclude.
Yeah, thank you very much, Deputy Pringle. So, yeah, in the first instance, Donegal County Council, as the local authority who manages the pier and harbour, will and are assessing it, and certainly will do a full assessment of the impact and the repair requirement, and I've no doubt will engage then as appropriate with myself and government in relation to the challenge that's there. It is important, obviously, that work is carried out as promptly as possible to ensure that this is repaired. I know that the islanders will be well represented as well in terms of engaging with Donegal County Council, the Irish Islands Marine Resource Organisation, a really important producer organisation on behalf of inshore fishers, and particularly on behalf of the islanders. I was glad last year to be able to work to ensure that they would get producer organisation status, which I believe was a big step forward for inshore fishers and for islanders in particular. And since they have been appointed, since they have received full producer organisation status, both with their chairman Jerry Earley and their CEO Seamus Bonner, they have been a tremendous advocate in our national fishing scene for islanders and inshore fishers, and no more so than on this particular issue as well. On Pollawaddy Pier, I've no doubt they will be also engaging and working with the local authority to have the issue fully considered. And I know my local councillor there, Noreen McGarvey, has also been in touch with me specifically on this issue as well, to highlight the importance of a prompt result. And I thank you, Deputy Pringle, for raising it in the Dáil here today. It's important, and it really that there's acknowledgement of the importance of these piers and harbours on our islands in particular, and that they are recognised here on the floor of the Dáil as being really important, and then that we all work together to ensure that the infrastructure and facilities that are in place are appropriate to supporting our inshore fishers in carrying out their livelihoods, and particularly following on from a storm such as we've seen, that we act promptly. And I know Donegal County Council will certainly be doing that, and I look forward to working to support them in that work over the next short period. Thank you.